Ooh, welcome everyone to the Daily Juice podcast on the Betting Pros Network. I'm your host, Sean Stacking the Money Green. Give me a follow on Twitter at Sean T. Green. And as always, Daily Juice is being brought to you by BetMGM. Use the promo code JUICE, bet $10, and if either team scores a touchdown, you got yourself $200 college and pro football. All right, not a bad day, 2-1, up about 1.8 units. Get to the loser first. Couple wild winners. Well, actually, just one super wild winner. One was kind of a blowout. But get to the UTSA game. I had UTSA on the money line. Meep. Unfortunately, it was horns up for Texas. I don't really regret the play because UTSA was in the game for a nice chunk of the game. I mean, UTSA was up 17-7. They were tied at halftime as plus 360 dogs. They were alive and well. Didn't get the win. You know, things just completely unraveled in the third and fourth quarter. You had a tipped ball that ended up going for a pick six. You had a UTSA touchdown that got overturned because the guy let the ball squirt out. It was just, you know, this is why they were 12.5-point dogs. This is why they were plus 360 on the money line. Just a lot of missed opportunities. Very frustrating. Fourth and short. Now, this is the get off your lawn moment. We got to find a sponsor for the get off your lawn moment. But my get off the lawn moment for this game was on fourth and short. We're running a shotgun pass. I mean, granted, the guy was wide open and, of course, dropped it because he's a college kid. This is what they do. QB sneak. We've seen the numbers. Even if you're not an analytics person, you know QB sneak's good. If you are an analytics person, fourth and short, QB sneak. Is there anything worse than your team going for it, or the team you have money on, fourth and short, and they're out of the shotgun? It's like you're already starting 5 yards behind. I feel like such an old man griping about this, but what are we doing here? Come on, UTSA. Still like the team. They're fun. They're scrappy, but ultimately Texas, and maybe the play in hindsight would have just been a UTSA. I was going to say UTSA money line in the first half, but they ended up pushing that. But maybe some sort of first half play there. UTSA, you're alive, but you didn't get the win, so it doesn't. You're dead to me, UTSA. You know who's not dead to me? Penn State. I was high on Penn State coming in the season. A little nervous that first game in Purdue, but man, they got the win and cover against Purdue, destroyed Ohio, and now, nice win and cover against an Auburn team. Really just destroyed them, 41-12. And if you haven't checked out their running back, Singleton, freshman, 10 carries, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. Penn State is off to a great start here. Now, we'll see how they mess it up down the season because they have a knack for doing that. But look out for this Penn State team. I know betting on Sean Clifford is often a terrifying thing to do. But, again, I think we're seeing the best version of Sean Clifford, especially given the run game with Singleton and the defense. And I do think Franklin is a pretty solid coach here overall. Syracuse, 32-29. Wow, what a game. I don't know what to make of this game. I mean, when it was like late in the fourth, it was 25-15. I go, all right, this is good. I can kind of just check this off in the green column. And then between then and the end of the game, there were 3 more scores. Fortunately, Syracuse got it done. Got the help of some PI calls on that last drive, but they score with, I think, like 6 or 7 seconds left. Get the win. Had them on the money line. What a wild game. Schrader ended up throwing for 3 touchdowns. So shout out to you, Cuse. Love that. Needed that win. Ended up, that's the kind of swing from having a winning day and a losing day. And shout out to you for Syracuse for getting it done. Speaking of winning, how about winning an awesome autographed DeAndre Swift autographed jersey? Beautiful powder blue there for the Lions. All you got to do is go to youtube.com/bettingpros, subscribe, and comment on this video. That's all you got to do. Comment on this video. Let's go NFL underdogs. Who is your big dog for the day? Any money line dogs, feel free to toss those in the comment section. Obviously, this episode, we're going all NFL picks. NFL's the best, right? Let's go. All right, little housekeeping. Earlier on the week, I gave out a 2-unit play on the Jags +4. Shout out to me, getting that value. Pittman doesn't look like he's playing. Darius Shaquille Leonard, he's not going to go as well. I'm seeing the line down to 3 in some places. You may still be able to find a 4 if you shop around. And again, go to Betting Pros website. Like, they're great for finding the best place for the best odds, regardless of what side you're betting on. Do yourself a favor there. I also gave out Pitt Steelers +1 earlier in the week. I'm going to add another unit onto that. So I got 2 units on the Steelers, 1 unit at +1 and another unit at +2.5. I still don't understand why the Patriots are road favorites. I thought Mac Jones news would be worse maybe, and that the line would swing, and the Pats would be catching points maybe when it closed. That didn't happen, but I'll happily take the Steelers and Mike Tomlin as a home dog. I think they're going to win this game outright, but like the 2.5 or the +1, just in case things get wonky there over in Pittsburgh. All right, first new pick here. Got the Cincinnati Bengals laying 7 at the Dallas Cowboys, -107 only over on PointsBet, 2 units on that. I love taking great quarterbacks after a loss. I got Joey B in the great quarterback conversation right now. He's 10-2 against the spread after a loss. Now, normally, non-conference road favorite is something I would steer away from, but I think situationally, this makes a ton of sense. I mean, this Bengals team had a -5 turnover differential and almost won that game. I mean, if they hit that extra point, we're watching history as a team winning outright with a -5 turnover differential. So I don't think he's going to turn it over that many times, Joe Burrow in Dallas. I think he's going to clean things up. He's getting T. Higgins back, which is awesome for them. And, everyone's talking about the Dak injury, but really, I think the biggest injury for the Cowboys is the stuff going on the offensive line. No Tyron Smith, their left guard as well. He's going to be out with a high ankle sprain. They're really down to the dregs there. And the Bengals defense is really good. I mean, they were able to get pressure against the Steelers. They were able to get pressure against, that was a big part of their playoff run. Obviously, Joe Burrow in the offense, but the defense played really well. I mean, you remember what the defense did to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship? That pass rush, I think, is legit, and putting them up against a subpar offensive line after a loss, I think the Bengals are going to be alive and well. And you throw in the fact that T. Higgins looks like he's going to be back. He missed a big chunk of that game because he got knocked out with the concussion. And then, Cooper Rush. I'm fading Cooper Rush. Call me crazy here, but give me the Bengals -7. Again, not normally a road favorite kind of guy, but I think this situation warrants it. Bet number 2. Give me the Seattle Seahawks catching 10 at the 49ers. You can get that over on BetMGM. Again, 2 units. Geno Smith, he's kind of a dog. Now, again, I think some people are going a little crazy with the hype of Geno Smith. But, Geno Smith, dog, I think is a legit dog. 9-0 in his last 9 games against the spread. You can't give Geno Smith 10 points. Here's a little nugget. 49ers have scored 10 or fewer points twice in their last 44 games. Both of those games were started by Trey Lance. Kyle Shanahan, he is now 8-28 when Jimmy G isn't starting for them at quarterback. George Kittle does look like he's going to play, but again, I don't think he's going to be 100% if he goes. Quietly, Seattle's offensive line played pretty well. They got one of the best pass blocking grades from PFF. Now, the case against Seattle is they just won a massive game at home. Now they're going on the road. I still think they get up for this game because it's a division game. And, I think they're going to be able to make it a game. Whether or not you think Trey Lance could end up being a great quarterback down the line, I'm a little skeptical, but I just don't think he's there yet. I think he's getting way too much respect in the market. Right now, Aaron Rodgers and Trey Lance, both 2 guys coming off a loss. Both 2 guys at home against a division opponent, both laying 10 points. Now, Trey Lance is starting his 4th game. Aaron Rodgers back-to-back MVP. Now, granted, there's a ton of other factors. I think if you're on San Francisco, you think that defensive line is going to destroy the Seattle offensive line. But again, like I said, Seattle offensive line graded out pretty well. I think Pete Carroll can scheme up something to keep them in this game. I just don't see it being a blowout. So give me Seattle, especially double digits. Again, Trey Lance might end up being great, but I just don't think he's quite there yet. It's going to take a long time to develop. Minus a 10-point favorite in a division game, to me, that's way too high. So give me the points. Speaking of points, here's a pointer for you. If you're betting props in the NFL, you got to go to bettingpros.com/NFL props. Tons of info, tons of projections there. They really, really help you out. And again, I'm not only not only the president, I'm also a client. I love the Betting Pros stuff. I think they really help you out. Tons of information. So yeah, check it out. And download the Betting Pros app if you guys haven't gotten that as well. I don't know what you're doing. Do yourself a favor. Last pick of the slate. Give me the Houston Texans plus 10.5 at the Denver Broncos. I can get that over on BetMGM, 2-unit play as well. I mean, first off, let's start with Nathaniel Hackett admitting he should have been more aggressive. That's a red flag for a team if the coach is coming out going like, "Hey man, I messed up." That you don't want to, as a fan, you want to see that. Like, oh yeah, that's great. He admitted he was wrong, but that's not good for the locker room. I thought I was kind of high on Russ and the Broncos coming into the season, but man, I didn't see a super dynamic offense. Maybe they figure it out here week 2 at home. The Broncos traditionally are pretty good week 1, week 2 ATS at home because the elevation, it is more valuable earlier in the season. I'm going against that because, one, I'm just like, I quietly have a crush on this Texans team. Like, I think I don't know, man. They're going to surprise people. Again, them to win the division's a fun bet. I got it at like 32-1. Now it's down to 16-1. I think this Texans defense is underrated. Derek Stingley Jr., I think, got off to a good start week 1. Now, granted, they let up a lot of yards, but they held in the red zone. They created some turnovers. I think they had some pass rush. I think they're going to be able to slow this game down. One thing I really liked what I heard from Lovie Smith was that he said we got to get the ball to Dameon Pierce more. Now, fantasy conversations aside, I think Dameon Pierce is a good running back, and I think you need to get that going for for Dameon Pierce and for that offense. And OJ Howard had a really good game for the Texans as well, and Denver seemed to struggle a little bit against Seattle's tight ends. I mean, Seattle and Houston, I would argue, kind of similar teams. I think Houston's going to be able to hang around with this Denver team. And again, 10.5 points to me for a team that can play some defense is a little too much. So give me the Texans plus 10.5 at the Denver Broncos. Get that 2-unit play over on BetMGM. I also like the Seattle Seahawks catching 10 against the Niners. Again, BetMGM for 2 units. Last but not least, give me the Cincinnati Bengals laying 7 minus 107 over on PointsBet. Hey guys, make sure you go to BetMGM. Use the promo code JUICE. Bet $10, get $200 regardless of outcome of the game. Just you need one of the teams to score a touchdown. Doesn't seem a problem. Follow us on TikTok at Betting Pros. Follow me on Twitter at Sean T. Green. Check out my other show, Sports Gambling Podcast. Pick every game against the spread for NFL. Tons of games for college, fantasy. Do a little bit of everything. Guys, appreciate you tuning in and hop in the Betting Pros chat. It's a lot of fun. BettingPros.com/chat. Get in the Discord. And guys, you know what to do. Subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, don't forget to let it ride.